So, thank you for the interview. How you guys feeling? Because I mean, this movie is gonna be huge, and like at least critics are loving it already. I mean, this is probably very well received, and then you as directors has done other movies, but this one is gonna be big, right? How do you feel it?
We're really excited. The most fun part is watching the audience respond to the movie, and uh, they're transported by it. And what else could you ask
Right.
for?
Seeing how much it's connecting with people and how emotional people get with it is really very special.
Yeah,
Like
it's a rare movie where people brag about how
how
many
many,
times they cried.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And when I got the news that you guys were directing this movie, I say, okay, they're not like writing the script, right? The script was written by Drew Goddard, inspired
Yep.
by a novel by Andy Weir. But still, I mean, it makes complete sense that you're the directors because I mean, your sensibility is just like completely. I mean, it just like fits completely in this story because it's a sci-fi story, of course, but it's also like a great comedy, and it has like a lot of humor, but also a lot of like compassion, right? So you
Yeah.
probably when
Yeah.
you got the invitation, you say, yeah, this feels like it's one of our own stories.
Yeah, we loved it because it's a sweet, funny movie about the end of the world. And that in order to save the galaxy, you need to make a friend. And it hit our sweet spot.
Right. Yeah, I think, reading the manuscript for the novel was like, oh, this is I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm excited, I'm scared, I'm thrilled, I have a sense of awe and wonder. All of these different feelings while reading the book are like, oh man, if we could make a movie that could make you feel all of those same feelings, wouldn't that be something spectacular? And that's what we try to do.
Yeah, yeah, because it's just as Phil says, something about the end of the world, but it's like a sweet movie. So I don't know if it will qualify as this topic because usually this topic is just like terrible.
Bleak and sad and
Yeah.
and like this is hopeful and optimistic. Yeah.
Yeah, hopeful and
Optimistic,
optimistic,
yeah. An
and that's
optimistic movie that is apocalyptic. Apocalyptic, hopeful.
Apocalyptimism.
Optimistic.
Apocalyptic.
Listen, we can't.
optimistic.
We'll workshop it. We'll find something that works.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting because it's talking about like unity and in times like this, that's interesting because I mean, in the movie, is there's not only unity between human beings because there's some unity in order to just like
Right.
plan everything that needs to be done in order to save the planet, but also like unity between like different species, and it's kind of weird because nowadays it's just like everybody's hating each other, like people from different countries, people from the same country. So I mean, it's just like a hopeful movie that is
Right. I mean,
doing.
it's never a bad time to remind people that what we can accomplish if we can communicate and collaborate and
And
be
that
open to each other, despite our differences.
and we are a social animal. We are designed to cooperate. That's our big advantage over some of the other animals. It's interesting to me that Andy, thought of Rocky, another spacefaring species, as also a social animal that was like deeply dependent on others in order to thrive. Rocky needs people to watch him sleep or he might die. And so
Yeah,
that was super deliberate to express that in order to accomplish things like travel through space, you have to be a social species. We are all of our accomplishments, and in spite of the fact that there are many examples you know, of human cruelty, there are more examples of us cooperating and creating together. And a movie crew is one of them. We are from all walks of life. We do really difficult things. We understand that in order to be productive, you have to be kind and you have to listen. And science advances in much the same way. It is a social practice where you contribute something and someone else contributes something else. And over time, we learn things.
Sure, sure, sure. And as I say, I mean the things that the movie says are like very much in vein with your own like approach to stories. But here, of course, you have like Ryan Gosling, and I mean he's so good, right? In this movie, he can do like comedy, he can do like drama. I mean, his
I
face when
mean,
He's
he's
so
sad is
great.
just so believable. I mean,
there's
I
very
mean,
few
what's happening?
actors working today that could pull off what he was able to pull off, and the amount of range he has as a performer, to make you laugh and cry in the same moment sometimes. The amount of control that he has and the playfulness that he has, uh, while like he can break your heart, and he there's really nothing he can't do, and so we were so lucky that he like came to us with the manuscript for this thing.
Yeah, and how do you work with him in terms of the I mean, he's very funny, the character. Yeah? This middle school teacher turned into an astronaut, but he's a nerd. He's awkward, so sometimes the humor itself is awkward because of what he does. So
Yeah.
how do you work on that? I mean, what were like the because
Uh,
as I mean, again, this is funny, but sometimes it's kind of weird, and that's the idea, right? So it's very physical too. He's just like
Well, yeah, the idea Ryan was insistent that his character would be only good at one thing, molecular biology, and that he would be
hmm,
bad at outer space, and that he would be bad at people. And he would have a hard time. What's interesting is it's really like a space epic about social anxiety and about not knowing your place in the group and what happens if some person, in this case Sandra Hüller, believes in you and
yeah.
believes in you so much they're willing to push you past your limits. And he winds up, it's really a story about in order to save the universe, can an adult man make a friend? And watching a socially anxious person try to connect with an alien just seemed like a much bigger hill for him to climb.
So do you have any like references for him in terms of
Oh,
like?
we might have, Sergio, we might have frozen. Oh,
Oh,
you're back.
you might have. I see you. You
One more
froze for
time,
a
my
second.
friend. I think we got a little jumpy there.
You get now. You're good. Now you're good. You were frozen for a second.
Oh,
Can you see me? Can
Are
you
we
see me?
I
both freezing on each other's?
What
I
about
think now
me?
we're
I see you
back.
now.
Now
Yeah,
we're
you're
back.
back. We
Now
had
we're
a
back.
little,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I was just
we're
not
being
moving because
spied
I
on,
was
I think.
so fascinated by what you were saying that it wasn't moving. So, so what about the references? I mean, do you have any reference specific reference? I mean, when you work in these characters, do you just like think about your friends or people that you know, or not necessarily? Just all in the screen and it just reflects.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
interesting. I mean, obviously the book, Andy's book, and then Drew's script had a lot of great stuff to start with. And when you can in Ryland Grace's shoes also, because it's a very easy thing to be, oh, what if I woke up on a spaceship and I had to go on a spacewalk, but I didn't know how to do it? Like, how would I react? And I think a lot
Right.
of it was just, as a person who isn't, you know, the guy who is the lead firefighter, I'm just, yeah, I can really relate to this person. And so the first thing I think of is putting ourselves in those shoes. And I think that was what Ryan wanted to do is like, I don't want, like, I want to be like, how would I react in this moment? And not how would the bravest person in the world react. And so I think that was like a good starting place. Um, Anything else I can think of?
My dad uses a lot of duct tape.
That's true.
Okay. All right.
He
Right.
can fix anything.
I think we might have frozen again.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's not bad. But yeah, it kind of froze for a little bit.
Uh-oh.
What about
We're having
the
connectivity issues, guys. Do you have a solution?
what about the physical
We have a hard
comedy?
line here to the internet.
The physical comedy. I mean, it takes us back to like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, like sometimes, right? Like this, like screwball comedy style. I mean, was that like intentional? You were like, that's part of your style, or what?
I mean, I think one other surprising thing about Ryan Gosling is he is a great physical comedian and has such great physics, um, in addition to being, one of the world's great emotional actors. And so we just wanted to take advantage of that. We set up these like ways for him to use the zero G wires in a way that was not normal. We had him in a spin ring and a very flexible team of stunt coordinators that would allow him to sort of improvise and do air parkour as he was a very, very clumsy uh, first time zero G astronaut. And he was really creative in how he just bonked into everything and was not prepared for life in zero gravity.
Yeah. No, that he did good, and yet, and you wanted to do most of the stuff practically, right? Without like a lot of CGI, and I read you didn't use like any green screens, and of course we have Rocky, Rocky. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about like James Ortiz, the main puppeteer, and he's also
Oh
the
yeah,
alias
it's the
voice.
best.
I read that you have like, I mean, Rocky was mostly like puppets. I don't know how many. You have an animatronic, but it was basically like people just like working with puppets, and like that's pretty. That's an old school thing that was. I mean, it's great, but it was risky at the same time, right? What if it didn't work? This is a creature that doesn't have a face. So how
Yeah.
do you make him like, how do you make people to feel empathy for him? But you did it. So
Well, yeah, I mean, it turns out people are really good at empathy. It's like our superpower as an animal.
mhm.
So, if you give an inanimate object the right behaviors, you start to imagine a person there. And one of the people who knows that better than anyone on this planet is a guy named James Ortiz, who does puppetry for the stage, for Broadway, for the Metropolitan
Mhm.
Opera. He does it all around the world. He writes, directs, and performs himself. And so when we did auditions, all the best puppeteers in the world, and our casting director, Gene McCarthy, said, "You can do that, but it's going to be James. And it's going to be James because James is a completely self-possessed person, and he is going to be Rocky." So we did a chemistry read with him and Ryan, and it was really obvious there that Ryan had to make adjustments to Rocky in the scene, and that's the relationship that we wanted. We wanted people, two entities there. And so to operate the puppet, it's James leading a group of five puppeteers. Um,
Mhm.
and, each one has an arm. James has his hands on Rocky's carapace, his body. And so you really feel the humans moving him. That's the best part.
Hmm. And in the end, it ended up being about half animated, half puppet in the final footage. But it was seamless. You couldn't tell what's what. But we always
Mhm.
had James and the puppet team in every scene so that Ryan had something real to react to because that relationship in the movie is the heart of the movie. And if they didn't have real chemistry, it wouldn't have worked. And we knew that if Ryan was just talking to a tennis ball and a stick all by himself, it
Yeah.
just wouldn't have had the same uh, truth to it.
So are you expecting like I don't know, something's gonna happen with this? It's gonna be memes or just like something is gonna happen, right? I mean, people are be this relationship, the relationship between these two. I mean, there's gonna be like some stuff happening. It's gonna be an
Yeah, I
iconic
mean,
character. It's supposed to be an iconic relationship.
For
yeah,
sure.
Rocky is he's just a very appealing character.
Yeah. So maybe Phil can talk a little bit about like two specific songs from the soundtrack.
Ah,
We
Mercedes
have
Sosa,
Gracias a
perhaps?
la Vida, that is originally
yeah.
from the Chilean Violeta Parra.
Gracias a la vida y el amanecer.
Yeah, but here's the version of like Gracias a la Vida is sung by the Argentina Mercedes Sosa, and El Amanecer Roberto Firpo is a tango, right? And both artists are Argentinian. So what's the deal with with
I know.
Argentinians here?
Argentina is heavily overrepresented in
That's
this
true.
film.
We try to do different things from around the world. but we ended up with two songs
Two songs from Argentina. We were looking for the first one we wanted. So we wanted the movie to sound like a mixtape from planet Earth. So we have a Maori goodbye song towards the end of the movie. There's Pata Pata, which plays in the Home Depot sequence. We we have a Chris Christopherson song in the film and a really important couple of other placements. But we wanted to try to figure out when Rocky has a sequence where he turns gravity on, and as an accommodation for Ryan, who's really struggling with zero gravity, and we wanted it to be like a playful thing and almost like a seduction. So I thought, oh, we have to put a tango.
Right. It's like an
Yeah, it
invitation to
works for
dance.
well.
He starts spinning his ship and he's inviting Ryan's character to dance with him
It's an
instead of
invitation to dance. It's the perfect way to put it. And so we listened to about 50 tangos, and we started with like Gardel, and then we found this song that was more avant-garde and had a kind of like almost like a concert music or art
Yeah.
music feel to it. It felt a little more elevated and still really fun because it has, bird sounds in the
Mhm.
middle of the song.
it's like the violin, like this little pulling like little violin notes that sound like bird
It's
chirps.
really cool. And so yeah, and we put that in during the animatic stage when we built the plans for the movie, and it was always the song, that's somehow stuck to the screen. And then Mercedes Sosa, we have a music supervisor named Kier Lehman, whose family are from Nicaragua, and he brought the song in and said, "This song it means a lot to a lot of people, and I think it might mean a lot to people in this movie, and it has a really, it has a really incredible history, not just as a beautiful song, but also as like the soundtrack to like a political movement, and it's humanistic." And
And it is also a kind of a farewell song.
yeah, we
Uh,
needed a song for Brian to say goodbye to planet Earth,
Yeah.
exactly.
you know?
Sure, sure. So in visual terms also, it's interesting because of course you have like the same the same screenwriter wrote an adaptation of like The Martian that was written by the same author.
Mhm.
So of course of course you guys have seen the Martian, but then how difficult was just to say, okay, this is our own thing. We're not gonna like
Right.
get too much
Yeah, we don't
inspiration
want to
from.
repeat the past, right?
We're
And
not the Martian
and
two,
actually it's
right?
not.
Yeah.
It looks like completely different. But was it like any concern at the beginning?
I think we wanted to make sure that everything that we do, we want to make sure that we're staking out our own territory, that we're giving the audience an original experience, a new experience, something I haven't seen before. I mean, we knew that Drew knew how to adapt a book from Andy that's dense with a lot of scientific ideas and still keep it fun, interesting, engaging, and exciting. And we also know that Drew was a very like emotionally savvy person, and that this book, I think, is more emotional than The Martian.
Mhm.
And obviously, it's based on a relationship, so right there's a big difference. It's like based on these two relationships between Grace and Strat and Grace and Rocky, and we knew that if we could do that, that would be a foundation that would feel very different. And then, from a visual language standpoint, we knew that we could make something that was its own thing.
Sure. Did you have any like uh, direct like influences? I mean, you mentioned like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but that's a joke, right? But in
Yeah,
visual
that was
terms,
just
I
a
mean,
joke.
Yeah, I mean, we were just trying to make the movie feel distinct, With this, a lot of space movies are about a person who feels lonely in space. This is a movie about a person who feels lonely on Earth. They go to space to find a friend. Space is not only a cold place. It's also the place where we live. It's the place where we're from. So we wanted it to feel warm and textured and sunny. And when it
Yeah.
gets, as the progresses, becomes more colorful because we wanted Ron to feel like he was at home.
Igual era